Um, oh yeah, let's go player comparison. That was
Yes.
yes. Okay, so Deuce, I we might be stepbrothers.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. I'm a comparison guy.
I like a good comparison.
I am a comparison guy. So I want you to give me a MLB player comparison to another player in another sport for Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge.
So one of my favorite quotes is that comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use this in an uplifting sense, and you're gonna really like this comparison.
All
So
right, what we got?
Aaron Judge is Lawrence Taylor, Shohei Ohtani is Deion Sanders.
That is fucking spot on.
So Aaron Judge, think about Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor made offenses in the NFL change how they approach their whole blocking schemes, their entire offensive strategies. If you did not plan in that game for Lawrence Taylor, the whole thing is going to blow up. If you don't plan for Aaron Judge in your lineup, he's going to make your day terrible.
Yeah.
And, he's going to hit the guy that throws the ball really hard for
Yeah.
LT hitting the quarterback, for Aaron Judge hitting the baseball. And then for Shohei Ohtani, I totally Deion Sanders, partially because Deion Sanders was a two-way player in the same way that Shohei Ohtani is right now.
Yes.
Shohei is a two-way player, but they're managing his innings, and you have a great starting pitcher when you have Shohei on the mound, in the same way that you have a great kick returner or a great wide receiver when you put Deion Sanders out on the other side of the ball. And just so multifacetedly talented in a way that we've never seen before. There will never be another Deion Sanders, and I don't think we'll ever see another Shohei Ohtani. They were so completely multi-talented as individuals that they could break games just by their sheer versatility. Like Deion Sanders had a 1,000-yard kicking return season while being a Pro Bowl corner.
You know something? Two things. Um, about the Otani Deion Sanders thing. I don't really have anything for the judge because that was just spot on. First thing, Deion Sanders to me is the greatest athlete ever.
I
Um,
don't think you won't get any pushback from me on that.
and I always say this about Deion Sanders. This is how you know Deion Sanders was great.
Mm,
He played for the Yankees and the Braves in the 90s.
yes.
Neither team needed to sell tickets.
Right. And they didn't need a publicity player.
They
They
did.
those two organizations had so much internal development that if they if they didn't think he could actually make the team, they wouldn't have bothered.
We didn't need like think about the Braves in the 90s. We don't need anybody. You have to be able to help this team.
Man, you want to talk about like a Locks versus Dipset versus 90s Braves versus 90s Yanks is like that tier of conversation we're dealing
That is
with.
that is true. And another thing about Dion that I didn't really even think about it until maybe like a couple months ago. And I was talking to my lady. You know you're great in Deion Sanders. Bro, you didn't go to any of the off-season stuff for the NFL. And you're still considered the best cornerback ever. Like you didn't even practice.
Give me that half of the field, I'm taking care of
You feel me?
it.
And honestly, similar for him with baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because if you're playing for the 49ers, you're playing for the Cowboys, you're playing into the end of January.
The highest level of competition in that sport. I mean, the Dallas, San Francisco in that era of the like early to mid 90s is as good as you can get.
Yeah. And he was the man.
And I was gonna say you can draw the cultural comparison too. Like Deion Sanders was a cultural shift in America. America's not the same place that it was pre Deion Sanders, in
True.
the same way that Shohei, as much as Ichiro and Hideki Matsui and Hideo Nomo, those guys brought Japanese talent to baseball. Japan arrived in baseball in such a way with Shohei Ohtani that baseball is just not the same game again.
Look, man, I'm at my son's all-star game. It's me and another guy. We're real cool. A dad. We're talking, and we're looking at all the kids, and he says, "Otani got kids wearing New Balance like that?"
Yep.
And I tell him because I watched it, it was the night before I'm watching them play the D-backs. I say, yo, Otani is a new era poster boy when he walks out there. The hand
Right.
guard, the arm, the shoes, the sleeve is all New Balance. And translating to the kids. And that's when you know you're the guy.
Well, and think about the style like you were mentioning with Otani. The corners that we're watching in the NFL right now. Think about Jalen Ramsey rocking the big baggy sleeves, or all
Yep.
the guys that rock the long sleeves with the one elbow band like Dion. Or how many kids in the 90s were rocking the worst Jerry curls known to man because Deion Sanders was doing it. And like Shohei's the same way. Everyone's mimicking that style, and it's the same level of cultural shift.
My my Otani question is a baseball question for you. Is will we see more players hit and pitch? Like, because think about like Paul Skeens hit up until like his senior year in LSU.
Right.
He hit pretty well. He probably could have got drafted as a position player, but then you take that away from him. Do you think we'll get to the point where we'll have prospects come up doing both and then they can do that like, at the show level?
I think Shohei has reduced the fear in organizations from doing it. And I also think that it is a development assistant as much as it is an on-field assistant. So I'm a big proponent of people playing as many sports as possible, as long as possible,
Yeah.
because you're doing different motions, you're working different parts of your body. I mean, you and I live in Florida. If you are a baseball person or if you are a football person, you're doing it year round, doing the same set of athletic motions. And I do think that's a reason behind a lot of injuries. And
Mm.
so, a guy like Jack Caglione, the kid that just debuted for the Kansas City Royals, he was a pitcher as well as a hitter. And they let him pitch and they let him do different things as he was getting his feet wet in professional baseball. And eventually they were like, okay, you're probably not a major league pitcher, but you are a major league hitter.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that as you get into double A and triple A and get ready for the majors. So I think in that formative development span, in that like late teens to early 20s, people should be doing as different motions as possible because I think it's a better athletic development tool more than anything.
Agreed. Agreed. We shall see though. I think it's crazy because as an ownership aspect or view of it, I might want you to hit as well as pitching because let's if you're a starting pitcher, you're probably gonna miss a year from Tommy John.
Hmm.
That is where baseball is going.
Right.
And we still gotta pay you.
Exactly.
So how about you pick up this bat and you earn a couple of these dollars?
Well, and think about it. If you're not Jalen Ramsey, if you're not Travis Kelce, if you're not any of these like one of one guys in the NFL, you're expected to play special teams.
Yeah.
There's not there in the same way that bullpens in major league lineups are so specialized. The NFL, we've only got 53 roster spots. If you're not the guy that we're paying $30 million to,
I
you
get
are
it.
going to be on punch shield.
Yeah. Gotta get in where you fit in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ah. But that's why I feel like you should give them more chances to fit in.
Exactly.
Like I say, pitchers at this point is almost a foregone conclusion. You're gonna have Tommy John surgery. Like it's crazy how that's became baseball.
I hate it.
You know what I'm
But
saying? But I got to figure out. I'm just thinking about me being a business guy. I got to find some value in you because you're just sitting here now, especially if
yep.
you're like a top flight pitcher and you're a Garrett Cole and I'm giving you $30 million a year. And now you're just sitting here. You're a pitching coach.
Yep. Them's the breaks right now in the industry. We got to figure out a way to get wins out of because a guy like, whoever like Shohei Ohtani or any of the other guys, they're top tier athletes. They're probably going to be able to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, true, true. Um, all right, then my comparison. Let's do some